Why is it important for women to be able to travel safely?
Well, I think it's perfectly clear that women should be able to travel safely all around the world. Here in the UK, we're lucky because mostly we can. But across the world, there are many, many women who can't even take the journey from their house to pick up water, which is desperately needed for the house, and back again without finding themselves at the target of some, I'm afraid, sadly, predatory men.
Why, personally, are you so passionate about stopping human trafficking? And why would you say that others should be?
Well, stop the traffic and stopping trafficking in persons. It is astonishing, isn't it, to think that here we are, 200 years after William Wilberforce first started the campaign to stop slavery in the British Empire as it then was, that today on our streets we still have slaves. We don't call them slaves, we call them trafficked persons, but that's what it is. It's about someone who has been bought and sold by somebody else so that they have no control over their life. That's quite a shocking thing, and I think people don't realise it. And they need to realise it because it's only by realising it and exposing it to the light of day that we can actually do something to stop it. Trafficking isn't just about movements of people. It's also a huge issue when it comes to the equality of women. I'm not saying that boys and men aren't victims of trafficking, because they are. Teenage boys, for example, are often smuggled into this country to work in illegal cannabis factories. But the majority of victims are women and girls. Here in the UK, some 3 out of 4 cases referred as potential trafficking victims are female. And of course, that's particularly the case for those who are forced to work in the sex trade. Yes, boys are engaged in that too, but overwhelmingly it's a female victim that we're talking about. A report from the UK police last year suggested we have at least 2,600 women working in off-street brothels who were debt bonded to the traffickers. In other words, they owe the people so much money that they cannot choose to walk away. Their lives are controlled through threats of violence to themselves or to their loved ones back at home because it's claimed they owe them money. And that 2,600 is probably just the tip of an iceberg, and that there are thousands of others that we don't know about who are also equally vulnerable. Some of them have been forced by violence and threats to actually move here. Others are tricked originally with promises of a job that doesn't exist, of a better life that will never be realised, of a great education that isn't an education at all, or even possibly a promise of a lifelong love affair that turns very sour when they actually get to their destination. And often, heartbreakingly, those promises, those empty promises, are made by someone the victims know and trust, even a relative or a family friend. People who prey on the fears of vulnerable victims. So we have a widespread crime, and we know what terrible damage it does to the individuals concerned. So we need to work harder, as Ruth has said, we need to shout harder, we need to campaign not just at home, but in every country, in every community, for trafficking to be put at the top of national agendas. And here in London, we have a wonderful opportunity that is the Olympic Games, to actually use that time when the eyes of the world will be on our country, not only to celebrate sport and culture and all the noble ideas of the Olympic ideal, but also to speak out against the dark side of any big international sporting event, and ensure that we clamp down on trafficking for the Olympics.
What response to the Stop the Traffic message would you like to see from local communities during the 2012 Olympics?
Well, the 2012 Olympics is an ideal opportunity for the traffickers, and we have to make it also an ideal opportunity for Stop the Traffic. Because in a sense, the Olympics means that we're going to get more trafficked people here, because big sporting events create a demand for the services of people who are trafficked. At the same time, of course, it gives us an opportunity to highlight this issue, because it will be happening even more in our own city, and it will be and continues to happen all around the world. So it's a real opportunity for Stop the Traffic to get this issue up there and actually get concerted action to stop it.